In the middle of a busy road, cars just kept passing at full speed. Drivers honked angrily. Some shouted through their windows, but the dog didn't move. She simply lay down, right there, in the middle of the lane, as if she had given up on everything. Anyone passing by would think it was just another abandoned animal, confused, lost, waiting for death. But there was something no one had noticed yet. Something that would change everything. The road was one of the busiest in the region. It connected two cities, hundreds of cars per hour, heavy trucks, motorcycles at high speed. And there, in the middle of it all, a medium-sized dog. Dirty, stained fur, eyes fixed on something invisible. People reacted in different ways. Some drivers swerved at the last second, almost losing control, honking furiously. "Get out of the way, you idiot!" Others slowed down, looked through the window but kept going. Must be sick. Poor thing. Some simply didn't see. Too fast, too distracted, and passed dangerously close. When cars slowed down enough, it was possible to notice the details. The dog was injured. One of her hind legs was bleeding. Deep scratches on her snout. Her body trembled slightly, not from cold, from pain. She tried to stand from time to time, leaning on her front paws, whimpering softly, but she always went back to lying down, in the same position, in the same place, as if she were protecting something. As the day progressed, the traffic became more intense, the cars faster, the situation more dangerous. It was only a matter of time until a distracted driver, or a truck too heavy to brake, ended it all. And still, the dog didn't leave. Stopped. A man got out of his car. He approached slowly, cautiously, and that's when he saw, under the dog's chest, hidden beneath her thin body, were two tiny puppies. So small they barely seemed a week old, eyes still closed, thin, fragile fur, trembling uncontrollably. And the dog was using her own body as a shield. Now everything made sense. Every time a car approached, the dog lowered her head, pressed her body harder against the asphalt, and covered the puppies completely. If a car was going to hit something, it would hit her first. Not by accident, by choice. The puppies were starving. They tried to nurse, but the mother's body, yes, it was the mother, was so weak that there was almost no milk. The asphalt was freezing. Night was approaching, the temperature dropping rapidly. If they stayed there for a few more hours, the puppies wouldn't survive the cold. And she knew it. But she also knew that if she moved, they would be exposed. And a single inattentive car would be the end. She wasn't just tired, she was exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that comes when you've fought beyond your limit, when every breath hurts, when every movement is a battle. The man who stopped noticed more details. The right hind leg wasn't just injured, it was possibly fractured. The fur around it stained with dried blood, deep scratches on her snout and ears, signs that she had been hit by a car, but not completely. Witnesses who passed by the road hours before later said they saw a dog being hit by a car, just grazed. The impact threw her off the road. The driver didn't even stop, and the dog disappeared into the bushes. Everyone thought she had gone away, but no, she had come back. Crawling, whimpering, with a broken leg, because that's where her puppies were, hidden by the roadside. And now, she couldn't carry them to a safe place, so she did the only thing she could. She became the safe place. Dark clouds began to form. A cold wind blew stronger and stronger. The puppies were trembling violently now, small, muffled whimpers. The dog tried to warm them with what remained of her body heat, but she herself was going into hypothermia. Another car almost hit her. Shrill horn, abrupt brake. The driver shouted something and drove on. The dog didn't even react. She just closed her eyes for a moment, as if accepting the inevitable. The first man who stopped made a call, called a friend. Minutes later, the two cars were stopped with their hazard lights on. 4 people got out. They didn't run. They didn't shout. They knelt down slowly. The dog raised her head and growled softly, not out of aggression, out of fear. Fear that they would hurt the puppies. One of the men extended his hand, slowly, and spoke in a calm voice. "It's okay, girl. No one's going to hurt you." The dog looked into his eyes for a long moment, as if trying to decide, trust or attack. Then, something changed in her gaze. Exhaustion, relief, surrender. She lowered her head again, and for the first time since she lay down on that road, she allowed herself to rest, because finally, someone was there to help. One of the men took off his jacket and carefully wrapped the two puppies. They were so small they fit in the palm of one hand. The dog watched every movement, attentive, ready to react if necessary. But when she saw the puppies were being treated with care, her defenses collapsed. She whimpered softly, a different sound, not of pain, of gratitude. They didn't try to pick up the dog immediately. They knew she was injured and scared, so they did something simple, picked up the puppies and walked toward the car. The dog followed, limping, dragging her broken leg, whimpering with each step. But she followed, because where the puppies were going, she would never leave them behind. The nearest veterinary clinic was 20 minutes away. During the entire trip, the dog stayed in the back seat, staring fixedly at the jacket where the puppies were, without taking her eyes off, without resting. The veterinarian examined the puppies first, malnourished, dehydrated, hypothermic, but alive. Then he examined the mother, and what he found was devastating. An exposed fracture in the right hind leg, 3 broken ribs, a deep laceration in her abdomen, severe malnutrition, anemia. She had lost a lot of blood and was severely debilitated. The veterinarian looked at the rescuers and said she shouldn't be alive. And with these injuries, she shouldn't be able to move, much less protect puppies in the middle of a road. They put in an IV, cleaned her wounds, immobilized the leg, and applied antibiotics. During the entire procedure, the dog didn't take her eyes off the puppies. Even in pain, even in fear, she needed to see them. Know they were okay. The puppies were fed with special formula through small bottles. They were so weak they could barely suckle, but gradually they began to respond. And when the mother saw this, when she realized they were being cared for, she finally closed her eyes and slept. For the first time in days. The first days were critical. The dog barely moved. But whenever the puppies cried, she raised her head, checked, made sure they were okay. Gradually, the full story was discovered. The dog had been abandoned while pregnant, thrown out on a rural road. She gave birth alone, in the bushes near the road, without shelter, without food, without help. She had 4 puppies, but only 2 survived. Days after giving birth, while trying to cross the road, probably looking for food, she was hit by a car. The impact broke her leg and ribs. Any animal would have given up, would have crawled away to die in peace. But she had puppies, and mothers don't give up. So she came back, crawled back, and when she realized she could no longer carry them, she became their shield. Weeks later, the dog was recovering. The leg in a cast but healing. The ribs mending, the weight gradually returning. The puppies were growing fast, eyes open, playful, healthy, and they were placed in a foster home, together, because separating them was never an option. The story spread on social media, in local newspapers, on the news. Dozens of people wanted to adopt. But the chosen family was special, because they didn't just want one dog. They wanted all 3, and they promised something important: never to separate them, because that mother had fought too hard for her children to be alone. People say animals don't understand love, that they act on instinct, on survival. But how do you explain this? How do you explain a dog, injured, bleeding, dying, who lay down in the middle of a road, ready to be run over, so that her puppies could live. She didn't know she would be rescued. She didn't know if anyone would stop. But she knew one thing: as long as she was there, her puppies would be safe. And sometimes the purest love comes from those who have nothing but a choice: give up or protect. And she chose to protect until the last second, until the last breath. Next time you see an abandoned animal, remember this story. Remember that behind those frightened eyes, there may be a story of unimaginable courage, of unconditional love, of absolute sacrifice, and that sometimes all they need is for someone to stop and see.